right there, Latin 2. Here we are, chapter 48, A Day at the Colosseum. Let's look at that first page, 223. There's some extra vocab you need to know. So, tesserai is the plural of tessera. Tessera is a ticket. I think it has to do with something being torn, but I don't remember. But it's a ticket, a tessera. And if you know the song that we used to sing, it's in there. Apparitores. Apparitores are gatekeepers. These are people who stand at the openings. The apparitores are opening guys. Now, you go a little further down, you find out that there is an imperial seat of honor. It's the best seat in the house. Everything is aimed toward that. That's called the pulvinar, and it is a neuter. The gladiators would go up to that, and they would say, Ave imperator morituri te salutant. Those who are about to die salute you. Now, I will tell you that gladiatorial games were not as brutal. Well, they were brutal. They were not as lethal as people think. Only about a third of gladiators ever died in these things, and some of those were specifically because they were to the death. Very often deaths would be accidental, because you are fighting with real weapons, but it was often to the first blood or to the first fall. There were all kinds of rules. Because if you think about it, a gladiator represents a significant investment. You'd much rather he lose a match than he die. Then there's horn players. There's tubikines and cornikines. Tubikines play a deeper bass. Cornikines play a lighter sound. And then the pairs would fight. And then you would have multiple. It's kind of like a martial arts tournament. You have a lot of things going on all at once. So these are the paria. And very often they're urged on by their lanistai right there. A lanista is a trainer or one who owns the slaves as well. And they're usually standing right there watching what's going on. They're cornermen, right? And they call the rules and stuff like that. Again, watch like the Karate Kid. It's the most well-attended martial arts tournament that ever existed in Simi Valley, but still. Lanista is a trainer. You find that in the movie Spartacus, actually. You're too young for this, but Spartacus Blood and Sand is a fantastic inside look at what happened in Pompeii and the life of a gladiator. But you were way too young to watch that. Let's see. Then there's things that people would shout. Verbera, Jugula, hoc habet, mite. And then later on, you would have midday fighters, which were usually, these are the guys that get put to death very often because they're condemned criminals. And there's really only one sentence if you're a condemned criminal. It's usually death. And then there's also the bestiarii, the guy who fights the animals and stuff like that. They would starve animals. This is not a healthy environment. There's no OSHA. There's no SPCA or anything like that. It's a brutal time, largely because there weren't novels. Okay, so that takes care of that. I believe I've got more vocab to teach you in the next video. So right now what I want you to do is go ahead and read pages 223 and 232 to 235. Okay, I'm gonna hit the button.